Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this session about online payments. Just a brief introduction. I'm Yuval. I'm with SafeCharge. SafeCharge is processing payments for the last 13 years, globally working and connecting merchants into multiple acquiring and alternative solutions. We are connected today to more than 100 different payment options on top of the traditional cards, credit card, debit cards. We are operating worldwide. It means that we can give local solutions into the global market. Today, we will cover some of the main aspects of managing worldwide payments. We will see what is the advantage of using a service provider on top of managing it by yourself. And eventually, we will see what do you need to look at when you are looking for a good payment service provider. I will leave room for questions here or at our stand at the end, so feel free at the end to come and meet me. And let's start with the presentation. So what are you looking for when you are penetrating a new territory? What are you doing as a broker, as a platform owner, as a business owner, when you are starting to penetrate a new business and into a new territory and you want to accept payments? There is plenty of things that you need to do as a business owner. You need to take care of the regulation. Doesn't matter where you are standing at. It's a full capability, full capacity of resources in order to manage the regulation, and this, of course, will leave to you. After you establish the business, you are regulated, you are starting to work, you need to bring the end user, you need to take care of your own marketing to bring the traffic of end users into your sites. Again, something that we will leave to the expertise in your company. One thing that you want to make sure is that you are fully local, you are making the end user feel at home, you are local by yourselves, and the platform is fully localized by languages, by currencies, by your solution. Again, something that I believe will require plenty of resources from your company as it is. And the last but not least is the payment, and this is what we will concentrate today. As just spoken, you can bring the end user in, you can invest a lot of efforts in marketing, but if you do not know how to convert it, how to bring this sale into a sale, you have done nothing but wasting your time. So what are the key elements when you are looking into a payment solution? What are the things that you need to do, and how can you manage it by yourself or by using a payment service provider? What are the different advantages? What are the main aspects in managing payments? The first thing that you need to look for is becoming local. You are penetrating a new market. You are opening new markets. You need to become local. Local means currencies. Local means payment options. Local means languages. Local means many different aspects of the business. Then, once you became local and you have all the currencies and APMs relevant to the market, the next thing that you would like to do is to make the end user feel at home, to help him to deposit or withdrawal in the best capability into in a timely manner, to be able to deposit smooth without any problem. This will require a clear and simple deposit or checkout process. Once you have received the deposit, how do you manage these funds? How do you take out the funds from the country? How do you make sure that the end user that won receive his winnings? All of these aspects will be discussed today. All of these aspects is something that you need to take care of when you are starting to become local in the global market. So the big question is not how do I do it, but how do I do it in a timely manner? How do I use the advantage on top of the market? And should I do it by myself, or should I use a service payment provider that will offer all of these services to me? How will be best? What will be the best fit to my company? Let's start examining this question by a few different aspects of the payment service channel. The first thing, of course, is the payment options. You are here entering into a new market and you are asking yourself, what should I do next in order to start and integrating in penetrating and accepting payments locally. So the first idea is do it yourself. Shall I go as a business owner, as a platform owner or broker, and integrate each of the methods by myself? Several of alternatives here. Do it yourself or use a payment service provider. If you do it yourself, you need, first of all, to do the research. Which payment options are interesting? Which ones are accepting my industry? Which one I will be able to apply to? And which one out of the entire list, and there are plenty of payment options, will bring me the best ROI on the integration and all the approval process. Once you chose the list, you need to go ahead and starting to apply to each one of them. Application means time. Application means a lot of documents going backwards and forwards. Applications means a lot of resources and efforts on your company side. After application, if you have been approved, and not necessarily, but if you have been approved, you need to start integrating. You need to negotiate the fees. You need to do a whole cycle of long term that takes between a week to a month per APM, and then you need to do it over and over again per each of the payment methods, a long cycle of negotiations and process before you even starting to accept payments. On the other end, choosing a payment service provider that is already integrated into this market, already introduced the payment options in this market, will save you the time, will give you everything in one contract, in one integration, all the currencies, all the payment options that you require, and also in terms of reporting later on and reconciliation of the funds, everything will be in one place. Second thing is the PCI certification. Visa, MasterCard declares that every provider, every business owner that is transmitting or storing any card details require to be PCI certified. What does it mean? And most of you here, if we'll go into such a process, will have to become PCI level 1 or PCI level 2. What does it mean? By Gartner research, it means the audit and the firewalls and the systems and the repeating audits and becoming compliant and doing the quarterly, periodically checks. All of it is estimated by Gartner in a minimum of $300,000 of efforts into your company. Instead, integrating into a PCI level 1 provider will save you all of these efforts using their gateway, payment page, tokenization. All of the solutions that are widely spread today will give you the solution, will save you the cost and the money. The next thing after accepting the payments is how do I manage these funds? Am I aware of all the taxation that is common locally? Do I know how to take the money out of this country? Do I know how to do reconciliation between all the alternative payment options? All of this, again, requires expertise, efforts, and resources from your company. Integrating into a company, into a service provider that is already in the market will save you all of these efforts. Risk management. Some tends to underestimate the risk management, especially thinking that in his business there is no risk or the risk is very limited. This is exactly the opposite. I can show you plenty of cases where risk management, when it was handled correctly by professionals, saved lots of money to the provider. Risk management is also brings with it a lot of importance in the local territory, and I will give you several of examples. If you are now targeting a new territory, and this territory is mainly mobile used, where the mobile devices are widely spread, what will you do? How will you manage the risk? By the traditional risk rules and rules engines of PC, by IP, by which category you will eliminate the risk, you will monitor all the fraudulent activity. No, if it's a mobile transactions, then completely different parameters are coming into effect. Do you know how to store the mobile device number? Do you know how to recognize fraudulent activity that happened in the mobile? This is something that is relevant to a specific territory. Another example, emails lists. How do you know if in this territory the email that is being used is a general email like Hotmail, like Yahoo, or is it something more specific into the country. Email is one of the most important parameters when you are monitoring the risk, when you are identifying and building the identification of a fraudulent activity. This is something that you need to be aware of. The next thing in risk management, of course, is once a chargeback happened, how do I know how to get my money back? How do I represent it? Again, some of the expertise that a provider will bring is how to contest such a case, how to do validation of the end user before he is getting the transaction in or before he is withdrawing the funds back. All of this will come into effect when you are using a payment service provider. Last, in terms of aspects that I'm hearing from brokers, okay, but if I will go directly into all of the methods, probably I will save costs. And actually, the idea is, or the reality is exactly the opposite. When you are going directly, you are small. When you are going directly, you are one merchant. When you are going directly, you have less capabilities of negotiation. When you will use a payment service provider that is widely spread in the market, that is processing high amounts for years, this will be your negotiation point. This will be the point where you will reach into a lower cost, and actually you will lower your entire cost for transacting instead of going directly and choosing each one of the payment methods. Here again, I see a huge advantage in integrating into a payment service provider instead of going directly into all of the payment methods. So all in all, looking at all of these aspects, we believe that integrating into a payment service provider will definitely save you the cost, the efforts, and the time in order to penetrate into a new market, especially when it's a market that you are not fully aware of all the different methods that exist. So if you are choosing to go into a payment service provider, what do you need to look at? What are the things that are important in order to choose the correct one? Who will manage your payments on the best way? Who will do it for you and still save you time, cost, and will bring you the quality? What should you look at? The first thing is localization. In a minute, we will touch this. Second thing is how to convert better. So you brought the end user all the way to the website or to the cashier. You convinced him to pay. Now you want him to pay easily. You want him to feel at home. What do you need to do? Second thing is the platform optimization. Different territories, different platforms. You want a provider that knows how to support everything and to identify the user preferences for the next payments. How to manage the risk according to territory. And the last thing will be the traffic management, how to manage your traffic in order to bring you the best conversion, in order to bring you the best approval ratio that you can. Let's start looking at localization. What does it mean to become local? Is it only currencies? No. Is it only payment methods? No. Is it the whole combination of payment methods, languages, logos, everything that will be presented in your website and in the cashier or in the payment page? Yes, it's a selection, an automatic selection of payment options. When an end user comes, if he comes now from Brazil, you want him to see first thing, the boleto bancario. If he comes from Germany, probably you will want him to see the ELV or the Zofort or anything else. If he comes from a credit card market, which credit card should he see first? All of this automatic selection and presentation into the end user being connected to the majority of the payment methods, this is what will influence. You need a provider that knows how to work locally in this global market. You need a provider that is already integrated into various payment options in order to offer you the best selection. Should you offer the end user thousands of payment methods? The answer is no. It will only confuse. It will only bring more details than he needs. What you need is a provider that is familiar with the market and knows how to identify the preferences of the users and to present it to them. Payment page conversion. Many of the brokers underestimate this issue. An end user that is coming into the cashier and wants to deposit, once he sees the payment page, he wants to feel at home. So you are giving him the customization, you believe that you've done a good job, and still things are not converting right as you should. What can you do in order to make sure that after all of this investment, you are converting the traffic correctly? One example that I want to show you, one tools that we are offering, and any payment provider that is offering it will be a good choice. This is a payment page testing online. What it will require basically from you, you see two different payment pages designed. Both of them looks almost the same, just the length and number of fields are different. Most of you will choose number one as the shorter one to convert better and to bring better results. And I can tell you that it's not number one and it's not number two currently that is the important. What is important is how you know online and how you can create changes in your payment page and in the checkout process that will convert better. And for this, what you need is a tool for A/B testing or multiple testing. You can customize your payment page by yourself. You can prepare it online and see immediately, as the transactions are happening, which one brings you better conversion, which one sells better, which one brings you better dollar return of investment, and then you can change it during the campaigns in order to bring better results. Any provider that cannot offer you a customization and a full analysis of these details is missing something important. Platform optimization. As I mentioned earlier, it is crucial for the risk management. It is also crucial for the day-to-day conversions. You want to choose a provider that knows how to handle transactions not only on PCs, but also on tablets, also mobiles, and knows how to identify the preference of the end user when the end user will come again. One thing that you want to offer is the one tap or the tokenization. An end user that just chose to pay through a mobile platform, doesn't matter which one, will be recognized. You will register him, and you will know, you will remember that he is coming now from a mobile device. You will present a good fit of the mobile payment page, of the whole checkout process, so it will look good on a mobile device, and you will also know how to recognize him for the next time without asking him again to enter his billing information. In one tap, one click only, he will convert into a sale, will bring much higher conversions, will bring better sales results. Of course, this is a solution that needs to be fit into all of the devices, doesn't matter which PC or mobile device it is. Risk management. And here, there are the risk management platforms that are offering the general and known factors of managing risk by different velocity checks, by different global list of positive or negative list that you can enter your end user into a specific list or a list that is coming directly from the card schemes in order to identify fraudulent activity as it happens. Not many providers can offer you also a self-customization of the rule sets, of the old profiles, entering your own, the preferences on top of the general industry list. So if you are aware of a specific end user that is frequently depositing from a different IP and you want to whitelist, you should be able to do it. If you want to whitelist or blacklist a specific IP or a specific country, you should be able to do it. Basically, what you are looking at is a solution where you can give the end user the possibility to the merchant the possibility to customize himself the rules by each of the end users' preferences, by each of the details that you will need to enter. One thing that I want to say is that risk management, as mentioned before, is also per territory. And risk management, when managed correctly, will give you not only a good balance between the sales and the risk, but also will save you cost. This is a case study that we had with the Forex platform that started working with us in 2010, kept a very low ratio of chargebacks. Towards the end of 2012, number of chargebacks became higher. We noticed it. We started to look closer into the account. Only then, one of our risk analysts started to notice a specific pattern that is happening in his account, although this was an account with a very low ratio. What happened is that once the analyst looked at it, he started understanding that there is something mutual between this case study and rest of cases that he sees in this industry. He started to make the connection between the situations that is happening now on this platform and happened before in different merchants. By this connection, he understood that we are talking here about something specific, about something that is now targeting a fraud ring that is now targeting specifically these merchants. He identified it, he adjusted the rule set immediately online, and therefore saved lots of fraud or fraudulent activity, reduced it dramatically. The fraudulent activity evolved together with the change of the risk system, and this is something that is happening. What happens then? So we adjusted our rules again. We added more filters into the account. We advised the merchants, everything, of course, with the full transparency on with the merchant. The activity that was suspicious, some of the things that you can understand from the day-to-day that is usually not happening in his account was excessive usage from one IP or for one email. There was repeating usage of a non-matching details of the cards between the first name, last name on the cards and what's been used online, different emails accounts that were not making any sense, and of course, very high deposit amount that wasn't relevant to this account as usual. The activity of the risk team that is looking closer at his account saved him approximately 100,000 US dollars of processing, not to mention the low cost or the reduced risk from chargebacks penalties from the card schemes. What basically it means that you need a provider that offers not only a platform for risk management, you need a provider that offers risk management teams that are doing online and offline monitoring, teams that are allowing you to sleep well at night when you are accepting payments online. Last but not least, in terms of service provider and what do you need to look at is traffic management. A transaction that is coming to your site comes usually with some kind of identification. If it's a card transaction and the card is being issued by a UK bank, you want a provider that is connected to a UK bank to process it there. If the transaction is coming from Australian bank, you want the same provider to divert this transaction into an Australian bank. You want a provider that is connected to enough providers and acquirers in order to give you the best solution for traffic management in order to convert and to reach high approval ratio. Once the transaction was declined, what do you do then? Do you lose it? No. You want a provider that can offer you alternative payment options, can offer you cascading between the different providers. You want a service provider that knows how to convert a sale even if it was declined. One more service that is common is conversion team. What you are looking at is teams of representatives speaking multiple languages that can convert sale even if it was declined online, can convert it offline. Summary. What are you looking at when you are choosing a payment service provider? What do you need to look at? The first thing is a provider that is localized, provider that knows the industry, knows the local environment and can give you currencies, languages, alternative payment options, and cards to be processed locally. You are looking for conversion tools for the payment pages in order to convert it correctly, in order to reach to high approval ratio once you already brought the end user and invested in bringing him, you want him to pay and pay easily and feel at home when he is paying. You want, of course, to convert as much as you can, so no platform can be left alone. All the platform needs to be here. You need to convert from PCs, from mobile, from tablets, from everything. Last, risk management, and of course, to be able to give you the full support of traffic management. We are out of time, so all the questions come to our stand. I will be there. We'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuval. Everyone give Yuval a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir.